Can you fix it tonight?
I'll try.
My father's waiting for me, gotta.
Rain hit
What
the
did
metal
you say
roof
your last
softly.
name was?
The junkyard garage smelled
she's
of oil
finally had
and
enough?
rust. Broken cars everywhere.
Looks like
Most
it.
people only saw scrap,
Might
but
be
the old
time to let her
mechanic
go.
saw history. That evening, a tow truck brought in a ruined car. Rust everywhere, flat tires, broken glass, a forgotten 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. The workers shook their heads. Send it to scrap, not worth saving. The garage owner agreed immediately, but then the old mechanic froze. His eyes
Please,
locked
you have
onto
to
the
help
hood.
me.
Slowly,
I don't know what else
he
to
walked
do.
toward
This
the
load
Mustang.
needs to get
The
delivered
workers
by
laughed
morning.
quietly.
All right,
What
calm
now?
down,
The
son.
mechanic
Let's
wiped
take a
dirt
look.
from the metal carefully. Then suddenly, his expression changed. Because hidden beneath years of rust was a faded signature. The garage owner frowned. What is it? The mechanic looked at the car silently, then whispered, "This Mustang was hand-built by a racing legend." Silence. The workers stopped laughing. The owner scoffed. "That thing is dead." But the old mechanic shook his head slowly. No, it was abandoned. The garage owner crossed his arms impatiently. "Fine. If you can restore it, you keep it." The workers laughed again. But the mechanic already knew something they didn't. This wasn't just an old Mustang. It was one of the rarest racing builds ever made, worth millions if brought back to life. And when he opened the engine compartment, he discovered something else, something hidden, something nobody expected. And what happened next would change everything.
apologize
Do you think
for
forgotten
asking,
things
but
still
I
have
must
value?
know.
Write, "They do" in the comments.
What was
Want
your
part
father's
2?
name?
Comment part 2.
Sir, why are you following me? Because I think your
The young
father is
driver
my
froze.
son.
Snow fell silently around them. The old mechanic's hands trembled. "What's your father's name?" he asked again. The young man looked confused, then answered slowly, "Michael Carter." Silence. The old mechanic stepped back slightly. His eyes filled instantly, because that name had once been his entire world. Years ago, after a painful argument, his son disappeared. No calls, no letters, nothing. The old mechanic searched for years, then eventually gave up hope. Now suddenly,
I don't
after
understand.
decades,
He can't
that
be
same
gone.
name stood in
He
front of
just
him again.
can't be.
The young driver stared
I know,
carefully.
son.
Wait,
We just
you
have
know
to
my
wait.
father? The mechanic could barely speak. "He's my son." The young man's eyes widened in shock. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then suddenly, the hospital doors opened. Doctors rushed past quickly. The young driver panicked. "My father!" He ran inside. The old mechanic followed slowly behind him, heart pounding, fear growing. Inside the hospital room, machines beeped softly. An older man lay weakly in bed, gray hair, tired face, but familiar eyes. The old mechanic stopped breathing for a moment, because even after all those years, he recognized his son instantly. The man in the hospital slowly opened his eyes, looked toward the doorway, and froze. Tears filled both of their eyes at the same time. The son whispered weakly, "Dad?" The old mechanic broke down completely. After decades of loneliness, they had finally found each other again. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. Do you believe family can find its way back together? Write, "They can" in the comments.